Hey guys, Samantha Miller here for Haters TV. We are at Wembley Stadium for Phil Neville to announce his squad ahead of the Women's World Cup in France this summer. Phil Neville believes that England can go out and win it, and he's picked players based on a winning mentality. He said why he's picked them. He's gone for experience, youth, so check out the full press conference on Haters TV.
Afternoon. Okay.
Thank you for coming. And we'll kick straight off, please.
Yes.
So fine. Good start.
Hi Phil, good afternoon. Interesting way to announce the squad. I see you got your friend David Beckham involved. Was that your idea?
Yeah, we had to speak to a few of my mates to get them on board. No, but I thought from someone probably with old school values, I was quite nervous about 8 o'clock this morning. But I've got to say, even though I knew the squad, I was waiting every 15 minutes for the next one to come out to see who the next one was going to be unveiled. And I thought the idea behind it was that we wanted to make sure that it was special for every individual, not just to put out a list of 23 players to go to a World Cup. We wanted to make sure that it was special for every single one of those players. We wanted to make these girls visible to everyone around the world. I think the reach from all the guys that sent the messages out was something like 170 million people it reached. So in terms of the growth of the women's football, in terms of growth and visibility of my players, I thought it was really, really special, and I know, speaking to a lot of the players, once obviously the messages were going out, they felt really special. They thought it was a big moment in their life, and I think going to a World Cup, we've tried to keep our players humble over the last 12 months, but I think today's the day where you shout from the rooftops. It's a special moment. They've dreamed all their lives about going to a World Cup. I've dreamt all my life about going to a World Cup. Today's a celebration of their efforts, their sacrifices, and their performances over their careers, really, not just the last 12 months. And it gives me great honour and pride to name these girls in my World Cup squad.
You haven't been shy in saying that you're going out to France to win this World Cup. Are you confident that this is the squad that can deliver that trophy?
Yeah, I am. I've been, since I got the job, really, I don't think I've shied away from the expectations, the ambition of this team. And I sit here today in a position where I'm absolutely convinced that we can go to this World Cup and have a good, successful tournament. And, football is football. Anything can happen. We saw that last night in the Champions League game. But we've got a squad that's highly motivated. We've got a squad full of world-class players. Then we've got a squad that's now, I believe, got the belief and confidence to go to a World Cup to be successful. So that gives me great confidence as a manager.
What was the toughest decision that you had to make when selecting this squad?
There was a lot of tough decisions. I think I said in the April camp that the door was still open for a lot of players. You look at the performances of, say, Beth England last night. She scores some more goals. There was lots of tough decisions and tough phone calls to make. But ultimately, I think what I've been thinking since the last camp is that could I have done anything more as a manager over the last 16 months to give opportunities to any more players? And I think I could look myself in the mirror and say, you know what, every single one of these players have had opportunities. And I think my best moment over the last 16 months was probably yesterday when. And my proudest moment was the reaction of those that weren't in the squad. When obviously we spoke to them, and the overriding conversation was about how they wanted us to go to a World Cup, and they wanted us to go to a World Cup and win it. And I've got to say, I'm not an emotional person, but a lot of those conversations yesterday made me emotional, thinking about the last 16 months, about the opportunities that we've given them, the platform to go out there and try and gain selection, and ultimately the phone calls yesterday were about them trying to wish me and the rest of the Lionesses all the best in the summer and to come back with a World Cup with us. And I think it proved to me that over the last 16 months, I think we've done the right thing in terms of opening up the gates to getting a stronger pool, a wider pool, more opportunities for everybody, and that's the case. Thank you.
Hiya, Phil. The players found out the news yesterday, but
Yeah.
when did you settle on your 23?
Last Monday. The technical staff had a meeting last Monday and Tuesday, and we settled on the squad. I've got to say I wanted to tell the players straight away, but because of Wendy. We had to tell them yesterday. Because because from day one we've always been honest and upfront with them, and we communicate with them most days in terms of the performances, the training performances, how they're feeling. So that the last 7 days have been probably really long for me in terms of I've wanted to communicate my thoughts, the squad, to them. But obviously we had to wait till yesterday, and we asked them three months ago how they wanted to be told. I've been told 3 different ways, and I thought it was important that we said to them, how do you want to be told? And they told me, and we told them exactly how they wanted to be told, and it was done and dusted yesterday morning. You know what?
Of the players.
We are being backed unbelievably by the FA. The exposure that them players have got this morning is probably far greater than any kind of exposure that they've got in their lives, and I think it's a reward from myself, from everybody at the FA. The team behind the scenes have worked probably for the last 3 months working on this, and I think it's a reward for the players for everything that they've done, and it shows the backing that we're going to give them over the next 6 weeks.
You're wearing a waistcoat today. Is that going to be a permanent fixture out in France?
I think I said the other day, I don't know if you was at the do the other day, that the players want me to wear something a little bit more cooler, I think. But I think I am who I am. And I remember I wore a tracksuit away in Kazakhstan, and one of the players came up to me and said, "Boss, we want you back in your suit." I think it shows, the England blazer, the waistcoat, the tie. It shows everything about us as Lionesses. So, 34-degree heats in Nice, I'll still have my suit on, I think. To be fair, I've been brought up that way. I was always brought up shirt and tie, wear a blazer. It's probably who I am. What we found over the last 16 months is that the new areas that we keep going to, we're tapping into a different supporter, someone that's probably never been to an England Lioness international game before, and we're gathering massive momentum and a massive following. Our games in the World Cup are going to be watched by millions and millions of people.
Hi there, Phil. Liam from ITV News here. What could the exposure from France this summer do for girls here wanting to play the game?
Well, it's massive for women's football. I think we said about 6 months ago that I go to all the talent pathway conferences, and people keep saying how can we inspire? I think we inspire by making things visible. The announcements today has made all my players visible. When I grew up and I used to watch sport, I was inspired by Steffi Graf, Boris Becker at Wimbledon, or Ian Botham at cricket. You're inspired by people you watch on the telly, and then once you see these people on the telly, you go and join in a local cricket club, football club, tennis club, and then you get involved in sports because you're inspired by people that you're watching and that impress you. And I hope that this summer, forget England, I think there's a bigger picture than just England this summer. There's going to be the greatest, biggest Women's World Cup of all time, and I hope that when that young girl, young boy, or male, female, adult, or whatever it is, was watching the World Cup in the summer, I want them to think, you know what, I will go and watch a WSL game next year. I will buy a Lucy Bronze, Steph Houghton Lioness kit, or I'll take my daughter to the local football club because she wants to play football. Because you know what, there are opportunities now greater than there's ever been before. And I think this World Cup, is a slightly tipping point for the women's game, where I think it's just going to go boom. I really do. I think we're in a period now where it can only get bigger and better, and I think that is probably the bigger picture where this World Cup's surrounding, really.
Play. What's the approach going into the next few games against Denmark and New Zealand?
The approach in the next 2 games is to get my players ready for the first game or the group stages games in the World Cup. We've been quite fortunate since the last camp is that my players haven't played that much football, so there'll be some players that will actually need football, and there'll be the Champions final, Tony Duggan and Lucy Bronze will probably need resting in those games because they've had a lot of football. I mean, Tony Duggan's played probably 12 more games than most of my squad, so the calendar in Spain is quite brutal. So it's about managing the minutes, about making sure that when everybody gets to that first game against Scotland, I've got 23 players match fit. We've got two games against Denmark and New Zealand, and we've got probably an in-house game as well. So there's 3 games within that period where we just need to make sure that we're managing people's minutes and getting that game rhythm back. Because after Arsenal won the league last week, a lot of my players have been able to take the odd day off. We've had great support from the managers in the WSL in terms of giving my players days off. and they'll be ready to come into camp in a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.